All right. Welcome back to CKL, where we have the other stream going on, where we have Division II finals between Michigan State, being Spartan Kartin, and Marshalltown Community College. I am extremely excited to see what's going to go down tonight. I think either team has a chance of winning this. Are you as excited as I am, Labob?
These final matchups that we have going on today are all very exciting matchups. Of course, over on the Twitch page, we have our Division 1 finals between UNI and Waterloo. Right here, we have a thrill of a matchup between Marshalltown and Spartan Kartin, the undefeated New Dogs versus the Spartans, who are trying to break that second place curse so desperately. And off our official streams, but will be streamed by some of their players. Of course, our D3 finals between Nebraska and Maryland. But focusing on right here, what an interesting matchup we have on our hands, Dynamo.
I honestly, you said it earlier with the new dogs versus the veterans here. This is just exactly not really what I expected to happen here. But I think even though MCC went undefeated and Michigan State struggling through the playoffs and the regular season with a 5-2 finish, I honestly see that veteran experience, those 4 finals appearances, if you count House Divided, to work in the favor of Michigan State.
It's tough, and I think on the pregame show, I also did pick Michigan State because the one team that played Marshalltown close to the season, Oklahoma. Who did the Spartans beat in the semifinals? Oklahoma. I think Michigan State has grown, and Marshalltown better not get complacent because this matchup is very close. So it could go either way. We have kind of delayed the start of the match for a bit too long, admittedly. So, Dynamo, what are some things that you're looking forward to in this matchup? Like, who are some players to look out for on both sides?
At least for names, I'd definitely have to say Don't and Crazy Flame being the 2 juggernauts of either team, both of which being able to score well while being able to lead their team in comms and general play. It's quite difficult, honestly, to be able to run a team. And with Marshalltown, I am kind of interested to see their angle on it if they do eventually come out of this, of how they've managed to just very quickly produce such a well built together team with chemistry and with play style, and seeing how they could just go from not even existing in the first place to just creating a team that almost tried to push down to Division 3 but is now currently front running Division 2 and could very easily win tonight.
I think it's interesting. And some other names you want to look out for is Capitalism has been having a fantastic season for Marshalltown. Xerneas for Spartan Kartin has been a newer player that has really been on the up and coming. I think that a lot of this matchup comes down to controlling that mid pack behind 1. If Crazy Flame can get that support behind 1, Marshalltown will run away with this match. Otherwise, I think Sparty has a fantastic opportunity on their hands right here. Because, hey, third time might be the charm.
Exactly. I mean, this could be the one, honestly, even though it is in a rather interesting season, and Marshalltown being this new team, you're not fully sure what they're capable of. But I've been really intrigued with both of these teams as you see their lineups. I believe both of them running their top lineup every single match of the season, so at least off of these lineups you'll know exactly what to expect, but not completely what happens when they really just get used to each other, playing each other multiple times for 24 or 36 races, and how, honestly, the bit of fatigue that you could see come playoff time and how that could actually affect either side.
Yeah. Michigan State with the first track pick of the match, as I highly doubt that Marshalltown picked Koopa Cape for top a lot from what I saw at the brief glimpse of the starting line. Of course, Koopa Cape is very strong for shroom spots. It allows you to pull a mushroom, take that massive shortcut about halfway through the track, which saves a lot of time. And of course, it's kind of hard to continue. Oh, that's an unfortunate for Don't there. Crazy Flame continuing to hold down the front with defense. It kind of depends on who's behind him, because I think there was another Michigan State player in the top.
It's looking like a lot of Marshalltown tops, at least like a top 2-4. That final green managing to connect on don't, third time's the charm, is kind of ironic in this situation. But Michigan State controlling the bottoms here, and with this kind of track, it's very possible that they could pull a shot and completely turn the tides. But of course, that would need to be pulled soon, as that final shortcut is coming up in the next 20 seconds. So they need to act now. It seems like a top 4 from Marshalltown.
At least, although Michigan State, like you mentioned, is at shock distance. The problem with pulling shock on this track is there is only one item set in the fastest path, and all your other boxes have to come from going out of your way on the water section. So even though that, yes, you're right, shock is very likely, it's becoming very close to too little too late to stop Marshalltown.
Lose out, but I don't think that's going to impact anything too much, as they're more just going to switch places with each other. MCC still holding top 3, don't breaking in, but we might see a little bit of a repeat here if he lands this green on don't, going for the shot. Unfortunately, does not land it, but this will be looking pretty good for Marshalltown to start off.
Don't got 2. There was another Michigan State player, I think, in the top 6, but that's a very strong start for Marshalltown.
Yeah, especially with a shrimmer like that. That was definitely how they wanted that to go. No real crazy shock action there. Blue not having too much of an effect, as Crazy Flame was able to stay in the back. And even though he got hit out with that Nana, his teammates being able to kind of save the front presence there. Don't managing to show that experience and his strengths in running and push up, but it wasn't enough, as he was ultimately outnumbered in the front.
Yeah. But it's race 1. There are still at least 23 more races that are to be played. And as a reminder for some of our newer viewers, during the playoff best of 3 format that we run, teams cannot pick the same track across the war as a whole. So that race 1 Koopa Cape that Michigan State got cannot be played again by either team at any point in this war.
Yep, extremely devastating as a Koopa Cape fan myself. I think we pick that every single time in our wars, and we are getting something as well, somewhat of a resetter slash bagger that could definitely work in the favor of Michigan State. But of course, if they do want to make these big moves while in the back, they have to pull that shock, and this is the time that they need to push up. Now, minus 18 is not that big of a deal. There is still 11 races left, but if these small or marginal gains just continue to pull on to this difference, then it might already be over by race 8 or 9.
That's the really important thing about having that rough race 1, is you have to tell your players, like, it's race 1. Shake it off. We got more game to play. You can't really change how the first race went, but you can change how the next 11 will.
Yep, Crazy Flame being contested here at the top. One of the Michigan State players not named Don't, so we will see if they'll be able to contest Crazy here. Getting that double defense. Blue shell out, though. Let's see how they will react to it. That back Nana not hitting, and they will tank it. Xerneas is currently back in the top, and seems like top or 1-4-5 roughly for Michigan State, currently holding the top. But Crazy Flame being able to take that miss there, as Vam was able to go around and hit them with the red. They currently control the top couple of spots, but Michigan State continuing to control that bottom 2.
It was really great team coordination by Marshalltown to have Crazy go wide, so his teammate in 3 was able to pass him with the red and throw it at the Michigan State player in 1. And once again, entering lap 3, Michigan State really needs a shock to disrupt these top spots, although they're in a slightly better position this time around than I think they were at this point on Koopa Cape.
Yeah, definitely not the greatest look here, as their last place goes into star. They're just running out of opportunities here unless a 9th or 10th place player pulled it. Marshalltown now in the back, so they're mostly just playing babysitter here. But unless it's happening in the next 5 seconds, I don't think there's going to be any disruption whatsoever.
Call it
Crazy
right now?
Flame.
Nope, no shock.
No, yeah, and they don't even have dodges. Only 1 or 2 Michigan State players going to dodge. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen here.
It does look like Michigan State was able to salvage some of the mid spots. It's kind of hard to tell with... Okay, yeah, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Marshalltown still having a positive race there, but compared to the minus 18 that was race 1, you take that any day of the week.
Absolutely. I think even though the loss, and at least in my opinion, I don't think that even though the loss, or even if it was an even race, I think at this point, I think Marshalltown still won that race, as they still maintain the top spots even on a track that you would not expect them to be able to. That if Marshalltown can continue to control these top or 2-3 spots, that it would spell doom for Michigan State, as even though Don't was able to get second in that race, he alone has been the only person consistently be able to push these tops, and the rest of his team needs to have the ability to assist him out, as those top 3 swings can completely change the narrative of this as we approach the halfway point in a couple of races.
Vancouver Velocity is a very, at least in the land community, this track has made a name for itself, those who know. But in 6v6, Dynamo, when would you pick this track in a 6v6 if you were, oh, that was that's gore of 2 players on my screen from a bomb.
Yeah,
an omen of things to come.
Oh,
But,
this is perfect. Red going off. They have 2 through 5. Spacing is pretty decent, as that second place player is getting rid of that fire. But as well, at the same time, that Michigan State player is still controlling the bot spot, ensuring that Marshalltown doesn't sweep them from behind. But this is looking really good for Michigan State.
Demon backs from Don't there.
Oh, this is absolute beautiful play there from Don't. Some will still be able to push up through that shroom cut, but Marshalltown is on the back foot here. Not really what you'd expect in this situation. That's likely Crazy Flame at the top, but if a blue were to come out, you could really see how hollow that top presence is.
Yeah, this is the situation. That's an unfortunate fact there, but in this like 1-0 situation for Marshalltown, the last thing you need is your one getting killed out. Marshalltown's now pushing up into, there's the blue shell. This might make a pretty big difference, especially if Crazy Flame doesn't have anything to dodge this blue shell. The question is how much Michigan State was able to hold on to their top spots. Because a lot of Marshalltown has been moving up.
Yeah, I do want to see what Don't does here, because although they got knocked back, he can use his expertise to at least knock some of the Marshalltown players back and kind of destroy them from the inside of the mid-pack. And this is the conclusion here, as Marshalltown is able to hold first. The Michigan State top presence slightly weaning a little bit, but that looks like a rather even race.
Okay, Don't getting passed by his teammate on the line, so he doesn't lose a spot for it, but Marshalltown still getting 1-3? I mean, at this point, Crazy Flame just has a big target on his back. I think Michigan State already knew at this point that they needed to limit how much Crazy Flame was able to play the war in 1, although they haven't been able to do the best job, whether that's due to not pulling as many red shells in 2, or just maybe Crazy Flame is a wall-dodging demon.
Absolutely, because at least looking at this on a one-on-one scale, if both teams continue to trade spots from the 3rd spot and below, Crazy Flame is currently winning that one-on-one matchup against Don't. And Don't managing to gain a few spots back, though, but his presence is likely being missed in that top spot as someone being able to contest Crazy Flame, whether he be in first or just able to knock him out with as many points of protection as possible. But yeah, at least right now, Crazy Flame is doing exactly what he needs to do as the leader of Marshalltown.
Yeah, and we got a glimpse of what the next track was from Don't's POV as, I mean, when you're streaming like this, you're going to have a bit of desync, and unfortunately the desync is a little bit too much to make watching both POVs in a race a fluid experience, but at least we can switch around from player to player to see what all is going on.
All right, we're going to be starting the 4th race here on Neo Bowser City. Likely what Marshalltown was looking for here, as long as Crazy Flame is able to survive the first 30 seconds, then he will likely be home free unless Don't is able to contest him. Let's see what that first item pull is. They are left wide open, but second place being that Marshalltown player, so he will at least have a few seconds of invincibility before this Michigan State player is able to push up.
That was a dangerous trail. I can't believe that he managed to get the Michigan State player instead of his teammate. But now with a Shroom in 1, the question is, does Crazy Flame hold it here, or does he use it to extend his lead? I think he extends his lead.
I'm fine with him holding it, seeing
Yeah.
how many people are in Marshalltown. He has the protection. He isn't, especially with how he's been able to consistently push up. I don't think that he is in any immediate threat unless Don't specifically attacks him here. But Marshalltown is that 2, might just be 3 through 6. So there's more than enough people trying to keep Don't on his toes that Crazy Flame, at the bare minimum, or even the worst case scenario, can just shroom up here.
Okay, Blue Shell is out, so is getting rewarded for holding on to that shroom.
Patience is key, as Crazy Flame gets the timing perfectly.
Okay. I don't know whose shock that was. Was that Marshalltown shock?
State. I think one Michigan State player dodged, but it seemed like it got a couple of them into set, being right before that big turn.
Well, Marshalltown's now bot 2, and Michigan State is charging up in some bills. The question is, what can they still do here? Michigan State 2-3, putting the pressure on Crazy Flame. Keep an eye out for a back after this S turn right here.
Yeah, the Marshall player in 5th dying, so... Oh, in the second highest Marshall player dying, there are now 2 through 4. One of those backs might have connected.
What a horn!
Oh.
Only gaining the 1 spot from it, but still, absolutely.
1, 3, 4.
That is what you want to see from Michigan State. Again, able to keep Crazy Flame on his toes, contest those top spots. That shock really helping out, getting 1-3-5. Now Michigan State looks to gain control of this match from the top presence.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited to see that coming from a player other than Don't. How you win these matches. Yeah, I think so. S17. At least when looking at that was so exciting to see someone other than Don't doing it. How you win these matches is working as a team, even though Crazy Flame has been doing a lot of that running in the first place spot. If Michigan State is able to coordinate and take out all these players in the mid pack and at the top and just use their experience together in the regular season or in the playoffs to be able to just knock these players out, then despite how great Crazy Flame is at staying in first, then he just might run out of protection.
Yeah, speaking of Crazy Flame, he burned out at the start of Hyrule Circuit, giving Spartans a top 3 immediately. Don't trailing the red, warding off the Marshalltown player behind him, who dies anyways, and that is a lot of green in top spots.
Is this like top 6?
It might be.
Almost. There's one of them is in 8th or 9th right now. But great coordination there, that Birdo not immediately trailing the bomb, so Don't can cut up. Some of them will be taking that cut, but still at least top 2 or 3 will continue to be held. Don't potentially in a better spot here, and second instead of first, as he is able to provide more pressure than maybe some of his other teammates would be able to. Crazy Flame, probably in an uncomfortable position, being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Did that horn connect?
Oh, not quite.
I don't think so. Oh, he needs to get out of the way. I feel like Crazy, his best move here would be to knock Don't off his tail just through a random back here. Xerneas being able to survive that fire as Crazy is in a position to get top 2. Blue Shell is out, so we could see if there is too much disturbance here. A lot of Marshalltown players moving up, a lot of Michigan State players getting out of dodge, so if there was anything crazy such as a shock, it would come.
It detrails Crazy Flame out of his shroom!
Oh, that was beautiful. Crazy Flame losing all of his leverage as chance at that first place spot, and Michigan State just continuing to hold these top 2 spots as they entered the last Nisk or important shortcut here.
And he pulls Shroom to guarantee he makes it through shortcut here. So Michigan State absolutely is getting 1, barring a crazy late shock to play from Marshalltown.
Ooh,
it's okay. You got the space. You got the space. Yep. And that's top 2, top 3 Michigan State. Can some of those back players get some spots?
I'd say about bot 2, but that top 3 definitely warranting a winning race from them.
Top 3 alone does give you +4, which is better than 0.
Yeah, definitely. In regards to the fight for the tops, this is exactly what Michigan State was looking for. They have multiple players pushing the tops. It's not just Don't. Players are trading out and are coordinating to take out Crazy Flame. We'll see how Crazy Flame can potentially push back in or play in the mid pack, because to an extent, he is in an uncomfortable position here. He wants to be in the front. He wants to be able to ward off all these players and potentially make opportunities for his teammates to push up to get top 2 or 3. But at the current moment, Michigan State has them on the back foot. It can slowly attack this lead that has been slowly growing up for Marshalltown.
I like the way you emphasized it's up to Crazy to create plays for his teammates, because Crazy Flame can score 180 and just get first after first after first after first, but if his team can't stay behind him, it's all for nothing.
Absolutely, because even though this team is fairly balanced, is seeing how they are able to succeed in Division 2, but you have seen just through all these other teams throughout CKL that have had this hyper carry and less favorable support, that typically the someone doing everything while the rest of the team is not able to pull up doesn't necessarily work. That is not a working formula. This is a 6-person team. Multiple players need to be able to push up and attack and get these high spots. So Crazy Flame, whether it's Crazy Flame or it's the rest of his teammates stepping up to attack these top spots, we need to see some action from Marshalltown before they lose this lead.
Yeah, this is a very strong runner that Michigan State has picked here. Sevenbo is known for, if you can survive this first turn in tops, generally you are having a good race. But the thing is, this section is so laggy, everyone's going to be teleporting in and off your screen. You can get trailed by someone 5 places behind you. But it looks like our top 2 players surviving Section 1 are Crazy Flame and Don't.
The Crazy Flame being able to survive and have a lot of his teammates near him despite missing that first box is rather favorable. He has a shroom up here, but there is no immediate spot that would be helpful. If he continues to have teammates in that 3 and 4 spot, then he could probably just use the shroom as leverage if Don't is forced to drop for blue. Pulls another shroom, fortunately.
I think Crazy's just hoping that one of his players behind him can pull a red shell, but it looks like he might be too far ahead of them to reasonably drop out here. Oh, misses the drift off of the ramp there. Loses a little bit of time, but Don't better have pulled protection 1, because if he didn't, this is... Oh, he pulled a bomb? Okay.
That was good that he read it there, because Don't totally could have just funneled him right before the glider. That would have just spelled doom for them.
The shock!
Hitting them on boost panels is an interesting play, but a lot of Michigan State players pushing up.
I think mostly Don't just wanted to remove any chance of a red, like double reds being pulled behind him, if possible. And it looks like Don't should be holding 1. Crazy's probably going to try and make a play. Oh, he gets hit out! Oh my goodness!
One last green for the road. Unfortunately,
and that's top 3 Marshalltown. Wow. Great coordination from Marshalltown there. And that's at least like plus 16-ish. I think the lead might be greater than a race now.
Yeah, no, they definitely won the top spots back there. I'm not necessarily sure how Don't died at the top there, but the 2 players in top 2 being able to disrupt him despite that shock, depending on who that pulled it. But that was exactly what Marshalltown needed. Even though that these races haven't been necessarily terrible for the differential, they are now in those top spots again and can hopefully continue to capitalize in those top spots if you are a Marshalltown fan.
Something that I've noticed in the track picks from each of these teams, with the exception of Hyrule, all of these tracks have been booster course tracks. Unless I'm completely missing one. Because...
Neo.
Okay, I forgot about Neo. So it was Neo and Hyrule, but then outside of that you have Yoshi's Island, Koopa Cape, Marshalltown has been picking a lot of Rome Avanti. We played Vancouver. So it'll be interesting to see if in Game 2 we're going to see a lot more base game tracks. If these players are reaching deeper into their bag of track picks to try and get the advantage on the other team. Maybe pick something that the other team hasn't seen as much.
Absolutely, and unless I am completely blind, I believe that Crazy Flame got hit out near the start, so these 1 to 2 players holding those top spots are not typically who you expect to see. No, okay.
Nope, it is Crazy Flame.
All right. Oh, blue shell's out from last. See what happens here. Okay, missing the mana. Is that a glider? Oh, it is. Perfectly timed blue, even if it wasn't exactly intentional. Okay, fortunately trails the bomb there, has a coin, so he is a sitting duck in this glider for second place and second, third, and fourth place. Michigan State still being bot 3. They could definitely pull a shock here to benefit Don't, but if that was their shot class race, then they need to coordinate it in a way that they can definitely capitalize on these Marshalltown players being bundled up together and get them out of one of the more important item sets.
Well, if there's a Marshalltown red in the mid spot, or behind one, Don't getting hit off glider here. It looks like 2 shroomed up. Don't does survive the glider, so he will have a chance to fight back for the top spot here. But Marshalltown top 2, Michigan State fighting for, I think, 5 behind Don't. You have one shot, one opportunity. Blue shell's out.
It's probably gonna make. It's gonna make it.
Oh, they pulled Marshalltown shot to cancel it. No.
Oh.
And that's a Marshalltown top 3.
And that's bot 3 for Michigan State. Marshalltown. Oh, okay.
And they pulled another shock.
A little too
that
late.
Is so unfortunate.
That was exactly what Marshalltown needed, especially with them being on that top path. I don't think second place could have dodged that blue shell explosion. That would have completely flipped things and potentially had those top 2 Michigan State players just taking 1-2 or 1-3.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That those players are not spacing out for blue. So that is, unless there's some 8DX lag going on, Michigan State was. That's such a momentum killer for Michigan State. And I mean, you still try and win this because you have 5 races, 60 points. That's still very doable. But after a certain point, when do you you got to start thinking that Michigan State's going to be playing for the playing for game 2, take away some of Marshalltown's picks to give themselves a better chance.
I'm intrigued to see what Michigan State picks here, as if they were that second pick on Peach Stadium, or I'm not sure if that's a ATX track or World. I'm getting
Peach
my
Stadium?
wires crossed.
Bro is World.
Royal Raceway. Royal Raceway. It's
I
been
also
too long.
forgot Royal Raceway was played.
Yeah. At least with those two being sort of a soft bagger, being able to catch up with Shrooms, that if those tracks continue to not work for Michigan State, what do they pick? Because Marshalltown is not only winning the tops the majority of the time, but they're currently winning the shock game.
It's I mean, you have two options at that point. You can either try and contest shock harder, or you just keep picking your comfort tracks. Say we know how to play these tracks, so we're gonna go try and win on them. So it's tough because playing on the back foot, especially on tracks that you chose, is never fun.
Definitely, and it begs to see how important those tracks are to these Michigan State players. Because if they lose some of their most important tracks in a loss, then not only are they going to have to reset to ensure that they aren't mentally out of it going into game 2.
Whoa. That is a crazy nano throw, and you go from having Crazy Flame with 2 defense in 1 to now having top 3 or top 2.
He could ward off a couple of these Michigan State players, but he had exactly what he needed to develop a strong front presence at the beginning. Ori is trailing, which I like that play, but hopefully he doesn't get smart bounce screen here. Crazy Flame dying. That's roughly top 2 or 3 for Michigan State, and the biggest disruptor.
2, but it's all Marshalltown behind him. This is a tricky situation, because Marshalltown is content just to take these very neutral races. If Marshalltown just takes anything from a minus, they'll take a -4 race if they can get away with it. They'll take a -6 race because that's not big enough to get Michigan State back into this match.
Yeah, Michigan State being top 2 or bottom 2 or 3 here, that Berto consistently being in the back to try and pull shock. This is around that point that they'd be able to use it to get them through these item sets. Will he? Oh, he gets him the shortcut. Unfortunately, the second player from Michigan State not disrupting him, but Crazy Flame has exactly what he needs if a Marshalltown player ended up winning the back and pulling a shock.
He's got Star out. It doesn't look like there's some players in the back and dodges. I don't think they have it.
Yeah,
And
enough of the Michigan State players are through the cut or through that final item set that they need to use it right now.
I
Don't
think
gaining a spot.
Michigan State might have got top 3-6,
Ooh,
top 2-4-6.
8 as well.
Okay, Michigan State's not going down without a fight.
Yeah, this is just one of those races that it's not anything super crazy, no top 5-9 or anything like that. But this is exactly what they need to get back into it. It isn't necessarily over yet. There are multiple races still to be played, but you need to get within a range that's possible to come back from. That you would not want to go into race 10 or 11 with more than like 40 or 50 or 60 points off the board. Yeah, they get it down to minus 48. That is definitely doable
And
entering the final GP.
here we also see Michigan State not only picking, but getting one of Marshalltown's signature tracks, Boot Lake. And with spots for it, if Michigan State can get a statement race here, I mean, these last 3 races could be anyone's game, but this is Marshalltown's track for a reason. So we'll see if Michigan State can outdo Marshalltown on their home turf.
Don't being in a fantastic position here. We'll see if Xerneas knows how to take that shortcut coming up. They are in the line for it. Successfully missed it, but Don't is currently in first with not only protection, but more of a warning to anyone trying to pass him if he were to fall off, and he falls off. Let's see if he can use this here on offense. Knocks out Odd Casual, but being knocked down by Crazy Flame. It is interesting to see what happens to these top 2 Michigan State players in the top if both Crazy Flame and Don't are not in those top 2 spots. It's just an absolute bloodbath in the mid-pack right now.
Still a Michigan State top 2, but also a Michigan State bot 3. This isn't the worst in the world because of how powerful Shock is on this track. A good Shock can turn a neutral race into a plus 20 at worst on a track like this. So it'll be keep an eye on those bottom spots, because currently Michigan State does hold bottom 2. They're also top 4. Hang on. I was really hoping Don't was going to pull like trip greens or a bomb. Bomb! How did that not blow up?
That's amazing. The Michigan State players pulling up, it is unlikely that they're going to use the Shock here. If they did, it would probably work out more for Marshalltown than them. So they just need to get these spots, as many as possible.
This is a big race. That's top 4. And the Birdo in the back holding blue. That's still big. That's a chunk out of the lead that Marshalltown had, and that's one of their tracks off the board.
Absolutely not what Marshalltown was looking for there. A big race there honestly would have cemented their run at this game 1 victory. But down to 32, we were looking at plus 60s just a couple of races ago. Spartan, obviously, the journey back to a neutral standing is far but over, but this is exactly what you'd want them to see. There is still a lot of contention for this game 1.
It's, I mean, earlier I made the mistake of talking about when Michigan State would start picking the other team's tracks to try and get him out of the pool for match 2, but Michigan State almost looked me in the eyes and said, pick their tracks, we're winning this game. So, let's see. We did get to see the roulette land on Wild Woods with Michigan State in top 4. I mean, Wild Woods is a good runner, but ultimately you can get a really good draft off that first turn, so it'll all be about can those mid spots for Marshalltown push into tops and disrupt the Michigan State run that they plan here.
Yeah, I was impressed with multiple players on Michigan State knowing how to do that NISC on Boo Lake. If they continue to have that level of experience and are able to take that NISC at the end of the lap, then they could very easily just continue to be in the tops in all those positions where Marshalltown's able to shroom might not be as impactful as it could be.
We'll see. This race, I mean, race 9 was big for the war. This one might be even bigger. If Marshalltown has a positive race here, that could almost put away the war. But if Michigan State gets a big race,
yeah, first place burned.
We've got a finale for the ages on our hands. Crazy Flip can't go into 1 because Templar pulls that red shell. So he's currently stuck behind until he pulls something to break tops. Pulls triples next to his teammates. One of the worst feelings in the world.
Missing the snipe, and we'll see what Templar does here if he gets enough space to be able to attack Crazy Flame. Okay, now he has his own leverage, but especially with that horn, I am interested to see what happens if he is able to get up close enough to one of these top Michigan State players and provide pressure. Being forced out, so that was preferable, because not only did Crazy Flame lose his primary offense, but if he was able to get into first, he was completely home free if there was a blue shell coming up. Michigan State continuing to hold that bot too, with a lot of MCC players in the top. So, yeah, Crazy Flame.
I saw the ring pulled and I knew it was coming.
Yep.
That's top 6 Marshalltown. It looks
At
like.
least
no, they've got someone in the back,
an
but
yeah,
that's not far enough to contest shock odds. Michigan State needs shock like now. They need it this set.
Would you say there is the best set to use it on? Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, they dodged their back spots, and their back spots were so far back. I don't hate them using this shock this early because they need to start pushing up to the front. Yeah, they need more than just the shock.
Absolutely. A blue shell is likely needed as well here. That would not only stop Crazy Flame's run, but keep second and third kind of on their toes. A second shot coming out. No one.
That's why they used it so early.
Yeah, no one obvious dodging them. They pulled Bill in.
But it almost looked like it was a Michigan State shock from the mini map. But calling Crazy Flame into glider just. I mean, maybe it was a Marshalltown shock, but I don't know.
Yeah, if they really had 2 shocks and tried to dodge the first one, I wasn't necessarily impressed by that second one. Now, the first one felt like the big splash one rather than the spam to get the second one out. The second one, not really dodging anyone obvious. If they dodged multiple of their players, they definitely would have been able to push up to the tops as they were just one single dodge and a power item usage away for breaking that top 3. But nothing happening. Crazy Flame just being able to continue to run without much issue.
Yeah, again, he got into one and it was over, and he faced little to no resistance from that point. 40 points in 2 races is very doable. Although if you're Michigan State, I mean, that's exactly the track I was going to suggest. I see Marshalltown is picking this track for mid spots a lot. You have the spots for it. Take Rome off the board. And since you have the spots for it, go get a big race.
Definitely. This can have multiple roles for them, and we'll see if one of those players in the mid-pack can pull multiple shrooms to be able to take both cuts and develop a run presence there. Second place having a Nana, so we'll see if he will attack Don't. Don't managing to squeeze through, though. Crazy Flame will take the double. I'm interested to see why he picked the double.
Oh, no. That is unfortunate line fail there. I think just the drift didn't fully come out when he expected it to after the set. So it's not the worst. This track is very comeback friendly, especially with how impactful shock is on section 3, and with Marshalltown holding all of the front presence. Like ordinarily, It's a racing game. Oh, you have top 6. Clearly, you're in a good spot. But we play Mario Kart. That's not always the case.
Oh, he forced it out, just kind of going in front of him, forcing that horn to come out. But Don't is pushing up rather quickly, but he still has a lot of people that aren't on his team trying to keep him back down. Marshalltown players now contesting the back. Not looking perfect for Michigan State because they neither have a strong foothold of the back or the front. Blue shell coming out, but at least as it's shown so far...
That's a great pull.
Oh, yeah. They need shock, though. On glider? The first place
Crazy got
on glider.
Yeah, Crazy got hit out on glider by blue shell, although it looked like he also pulled a bomb to keep himself in 1. Oh no.
Panic riding Don't here, but Don't has the perfect answer to get him to first.
Last
here.
Place needs to pull it right here.
Oh,
they got it! The triple red's behind it! This could be it.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna take the cut. He's just gonna be in first. Does he slow
Trail
down?
him out.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the correct move. He's definitely going to be unleashing those triple reds backing here. He gets 1! Top 2 at least.
And it's 10-11 for Marshalltown. Where was the rest of Michigan State?
That's not enough.
That was really well played by Don't to take the 1 there, but it's not you're right. Is that even a positive race?
I think it might
I
be
guess
like
we'll have to wait and see for the
-4,
bots update.
maybe like a -2.
Minus anything is too much. It's
+4.
+4. Okay. It's doable. It's very doable. Honestly, and I think Marshalltown here, frame 1 picks Baby Park, right? Because I know from personal experience, a lot of their team likes that track for meme reasons, but also it's a track you don't want to see in play in Game 2, and it's a track situationally that's exactly for this position.
Really interesting track picks here. You did say that they should have picked Baby Park, but at the same time, this is their... Yes, they could very easily get fridged here if they don't pick something like Baby Park, but this is still very much an opportunity for them to take a track off that Michigan State likes. That might be what they're going for here. With the roster construction, it's rather interesting because the main point being, in order for them to win this, they're going to have to get Crazy Flame to get more than likely a bot 6 spot. And it's a real question of, can they do that? Can they keep Crazy Flame out of the bottom consistently, or at least knock him out enough times at the end so that it would actually matter?
I mean, for Michigan State to win this Game 1, we need to see top 5-8 or better. Top 5-8 forces a tiebreaker GP. Anything worse than top 5-8, and Marshalltown will take Game 1. But admittedly, I thought after Michigan State went down 60 after the halfway point, I'm very happy that this set has turned out to be very competitive.
Yeah, did Michigan State... Okay, who picked what from that?
Because Michigan State picked Cruiser, and 2 Marshalltown players also picked Cruiser.
Okay,
4 Marshalltown players picked Maul.
Okay, because I was wondering, with them picking basically an 8-4 split, what side is more attempting to pick what the other team likes? Or was that Michigan State waving the white flag already, just more focused on getting a track off the board and actually having a chance? Nice horn. Crazy Flame is in a unfortunate position.
They're fighting for it.
Don't dying, though.
Top 3 Michigan State? It all just kind of depends on how this lap 2 shapes up.
Ooh.
Oh, the bomb before the cut, catching 2 Marshalltown players. Crazy getting forced to the back because the bomb pushed him out.
We'll see what happens here, because Crazy does not want to be back here. This is exactly what Michigan State needed, but they're kind of in this weird position because Michigan State is typically the one having a couple of players back going for that shock. They need those players to be proactive and move up to the top.
That's top 4 Michigan State right now. It all depends on where can these last 2 end up.
Yeah, honestly, and Don't's back here. All they need to do is just bully these 2. That's not going to matter unless there's a shock as well, depending on where they hit them.
Oh, they're getting shock blue. That's Marshalltown shock. There's 4 dodges. One of them was Michigan State. But
yeah, they're entering third.
Kartin's? They dodged in 4.
Was that them in the bill extension, or was that Michigan State? One of them entering bill extension.
I think there were 3 Marshalltown dodges.
There's a Marshalltown player in the bill extension. That was exactly what they needed. Top 2 spots, but still multiple, not even in dodge. Last place getting hit out. That's wraps.
Yeah, Game 1 going to Marshalltown, but man, what an exciting Game 1 this was.
Yeah, they kept it close. Definitely a worthy fight there. But Marshalltown, if anything, if they weren't able to disrupt those tops too much, but at the end of the day, in these plus 30 scenarios, I hate to say it, but you really have to bully 1 to 2 players in the back, especially if they're holding a blue shell.
Yeah, that was a very competitive match. And from how Crazy Flame started out with 40 points after 3 races, only finishing like 10 points ahead of the second place Indivs, Michigan State really did claw their way back into this match from the depths. And that minus 24 I think is a very accurate representation of how this match ended up. It felt like Marshalltown got off to an early lead. Michigan State almost clawed it back. They needed 1 or 2 things to go their way, and they take Game 1. But we move on to Game 2. None of those tracks we saw in Game 1 can be seen again. And I'm hoping that Game 2 is just as exciting as Game 1 was.
Yeah, Marshalltown taking the win there, but that minus 24, as you said, rather, I hate to say it, even though they lost, but that was definitely what you'd want to see from Michigan State, as they had these exact same lineups face each other in the regular season, and the difference was 70. So this being much closer than you would expect solely going off the regular season.
Absolutely. I mean, again, Marshalltown, for one of the very few times this season, is facing adversity in their matches. And Michigan State's putting up the fight. It all depends. Can they carry the momentum going into Game 2? Because Michigan State does need to win both of the next sets of 12 races, which means, hey, we could have 2 more hours of college card on our hands here. I'm all for that.
Absolutely. I cleared out the evening for this. I am extremely excited if we could see a Game 3 here, and it really comes down all the way to the final race, the final possible race to see if Michigan State is able to break that finals curse, or if Marshalltown is able to come in here as a completely new team from a school that you would not be able to expect to field such a powerful roster, and show everyone we're here and we're able to knock off almost any team in the entire league.
I think this shows that just because they play in a different league doesn't mean that they're any inferior to a lot of the veterans of the CKL scene here. Like, we saw long-standing veterans of the CKL scene in Division II, like Oklahoma, Morgan State, Tennessee, Michigan State, FIU, and there's a lot of these teams, they've been here for a while, and then you have this junior college coming in and showing all of these teams that they're here to take this seriously. And it is really cool to see these new teams come in and succeed. It's what makes the lower divisions so exciting. It makes these teams so fun to root for.
Yeah, they have all of the wind in their sails right now, as these people likely just getting into the scene recently, they likely have all the motivation in the world to continue to grind this game, even with MK World out. Marshalltown, if they continue to play and prioritize this game and just have this positivity and energy coming towards their grind of this game, they could look completely different at the start of the next season or any other league that they'd be able to play in, and be able to rival some of the teams in Division 1.
Yeah. Speaking of Division 1, we can go take a check into some of our other matches going on right now. Currently over on the CKL Twitch page, we have, again, Northern Iowa versus Waterloo, and going into race 12, UNI is down 6 points. So that could be anyone's game. Of course, for those of you who are sticking around here, we will keep you informed as soon as we know the result of that match. And looking down the divisions to Division 3, Nebraska takes Game 1 off of Maryland by 22 points. So all 3 Game 1 coming down to the wire.
Beautiful weekend here, just feeling like March Madness, just having all these important games going on at the same time. I'm very happy to be on this primetime cast right now, because this is where the action is. There are so many massive games going on that could fit and completely change the narrative across any of these teams that have been playing for multiple seasons in CKL, and this is exactly where it'll all be, where all the big plays are going to be made, and I cannot wait to see how Divisions 1, 2, and 3 will be decided tonight.
So before we take a quick break while we're waiting for the teams to get ready for their Game 2, which will start in just about 10 minutes, what are some adjustments you could see being made by either team going into Game 2?
At least with Michigan State, I am really interested to see what they do, because they had a lot of back presence, and at least until the end, they were not winning that. So I'd potentially want to see them being more aggressive, or at least being more smart with their options to go back. Because yes, you could be in the back and pull those items, but you don't necessarily need to be in the back all the time until lap 2 or lap 3. So at least for Michigan State, I would want to see them slightly change things up and not have 1 to 2 players just consistently out of those top 4 spots.
I think I agree with that statement. It is important to contest shock in this game, but it's also important to be sure that once the shock appears, you still have the potential to come back and score well in the race, because like you mentioned, there were a lot of races where Michigan State was holding a lot of the bottom spots, but that didn't necessarily mean that they were pulling shock. Meanwhile, Crazy Flame kind of can just sit and won on some of these races uncontested. It'll be interesting to see the adaptations we see going forward. I'm very excited to see what some of these teams are going to be picking for their tracks, since a lot of the staples for these teams are now off the board. So we'll see going forward. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes for coverage of Game 2. We'll go a little more in depth on the lineups for both of these teams, since we didn't really have time to do it before Game 1. And of course, we'll let you know how D1 Game 1 finished. Stay tuned. Welcome back to D2 Finals, where Dynamo, I don't know about you, but I'm hoping that Game 2 goes just as intense as Game 1 did.
Absolutely. I was so excited to see Michigan State have that comeback there, as it seemed like already over by race 9, but Michigan State having something to say at the very end there. Even though it wasn't quite enough and they ended up running out of time, they showed that Marshalltown is human. Like that Oklahoma game that you mentioned that was around a -2 difference, that Marshalltown is capable of losing, and even though Michigan State did have a great start, they are capable of chaining multiple great races, and if given the opportunity by Marshalltown, they can completely change the tide and put up a difference upwards of 20, 30, or 40 at least.
Yeah, I think Michigan State proved that they are never out of it until they are mathematically out of it. And I apologize, Michigan State, I was not familiar with your game. I will not make that mistake again. But I wanted to take a moment before we go into Game 2 and highlight some of the other players' accomplishments on the season. So, obviously, on the Michigan State side, we have I Don't Know, who's been the captain of Michigan State since, I believe, Season 2 when the team first formed. I think he played 8DX with MK University. Xerneas started playing with MK Scholars, and I think everyone else with Spartan Kartin either specifically stuck to CKL or maybe got some scrim experience with MKS. I don't remember. So you got some experience on the Michigan State side.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of Orius's name, and at least with Don't, I guess I was going to have to respect it a little bit more here. But I was really surprised, just as an outside person to their team, how quickly he just became the guy for them. Not like the highest scorer, but just the complete captain and that person capable of just running the entire team. Because you had these names all the way back to Season 0, like Noah Squid, Silver Phoenix, Nova, who definitely had interest in the game and were there longer than Don't, but Don't just came out of nowhere. It was like, hey, I see value in this team and I love this game. I can continue to show people what Michigan State could do, and I can continue to run it all the way up to Season 5.
Yeah. And of course, you still have some experience on the Marshalltown side of things. Of course, we talked a lot about Crazy Flame, currently on the roster for Pixel Perfect, has played for Yoshi Gang and even Pirate Hackers a couple of years ago. Other players notable on the Marshalltown roster include, we mentioned his name a little bit, was Capitalism, who is their second highest scorer. We talked about Crazy Flame averaging 127, breaking that 120-point average that Coach Roadblock said he was going to waterboard him on stream if he didn't reach that mark. So Crazy Flame knew he had to lock in. Capitalism averaging 97 to help support Crazy Flame. And something else I noticed when looking at the indiv charts is some of the other Marshalltown players, Bamorlo, Lobster Roby, Boba, all averaging over 70. This is a deep roster.
Yeah, there isn't anyone that you can immediately point at and say that they just only stayed in the back of the entire time or they're incapable of scoring well. These people can score consistently well, and at least when I was looking at their profiles in MK Central, I was pleasantly surprised. Because even though most of them had accounts all the way back to 2024, most of them didn't have any tournament experience, whether that be solo or team, outside of like a single FFA tournament about a year ago. So even though they've potentially been in the league, likely a lot of their development has happened within the last few months.
Yeah, and it's really impressive. And again, they do have their experience in the junior college circuit, but that doesn't necessarily transfer over to our 6v6 league, as they are two very, very different teams. So it'll be interesting to see if the experience behind the Michigan State lineup can persevere through the one-game deficit that they have, or if the hot shots of Marshalltown can claim their victory this game.
Yep, they are a single game away now from having a perfect season. We've seen some of those before, but of course it's very difficult to occur, especially with UNI now after losing that first match no longer having a perfect season if you consider the playoffs. So Marshalltown is in that position where they would be in, probably have the highest division at this point to have a perfect record. Definitely not easy. And at least we saw one last season with Arizona State having a perfect record. But it's not guaranteed. Even though you have consistently won up to this point, this is where strategies never seen before are going to occur. Things are going to get drastic. You're going to see track picks that we've never expected to see in order to shake up Marshalltown's dominance, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yep. Into game 2, and race 1. Yoshi Circuit.
Yeah, okay. When I said this, I was expecting this kind of track pick, not going to lie.
I mean, I understand why Marshalltown is picking it, because you understand Michigan State is starting with the top spots, and you want to immediately throw them off the top spots. That doesn't mean that we can agree with the track pick, but because as you and I both know, this track is known for its bagging how strong bagging is.
Yeah, up to 30 seconds back. And, of course, honestly, I think it's very important to pull out, or to say, honestly, more than anything we've said so far this cast, the track is, in fact, in the shape of Yoshi, which is very important for this track. But Marshalltown currently controlling the tops, don't being able to at least trail this person second. Okay, I think that was neutral. Did he accidentally throw up the green? And I think that hit Cap, and then the capitalism, and then he ended up dying as he did not have his protection out. Marshalltown having control of the top, but once again, a lot of Michigan State players being in the bottom. I will say that if this is a time where you want to have a lot of bottom spots, it is right now.
Yes, because there are two. So in this game, bullet bills have a couple rules that they follow, where some bullet bills cannot drop you on certain turns in the track or certain areas. We call these bill extensions. Yoshi Circuit has 2 very powerful bill extensions on the track, to the point where if you are lucky enough, you can chain 2 bills and they will almost take you around the entire track.
Yep, and this is that point right now where Michigan could have up to 3, maybe even 4 people take this bill extension. And even though, yes, Marshalltown does have a lot of tops, they're definitely not far enough that a bill extension will not... Okay, 1 person, 2 people, 3 people.
3 Michigan State bills.
All right, let's see what they could do. They definitely have the weaponry to keep them out of it. But as long as they stay away from Crazy Flame and get out their extension right now, that red is not immediately next to them. Backing it was an interesting play.
That's a smart bounce.
Moment. Ooh.
I think Marshalltown still holds behind him.
There's a lot of... it's definitely mixed in the back, but it's like top... or 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 from Michigan State. Okay, Lobster breaking in there at the end, but rather even.
It's slight Marshalltown advantage, but only by a couple of points. And I'm shocked, pun partly intended, we didn't see one this race.
I would say lack of thereof, that if there was not going to be shock on that track, yes, a lot of the Michigan State players did have a bill and intended on holding that as long as possible for that bill extension lap 3, but honestly, if I'm them, I would take notice of the pattern going on, that there is not a whole lot of shocks happening, especially on tracks that you'd expect it to be on. They can maybe continue to control the back, but if it's not working for them and Marshalltown just continues to have these races with ease and not having any shocks, they need to make some sort of adjustment now rather than later.
Absolutely, because that's why those tracks can be so frustrating to play on either side, whether you're running or bagging, because if you bag and you bag too hard and there's no shock, your race is cooked. If you run and there's a shock on lap 3, your race is cooked. So you have to kind of play that game. It's a lot easier to play the game in 6v6 because you can limit how bad the shock is for you by proxy of your team can benefit from it, but it's never fun when the other team pulls it.
Absolutely. We are getting a track. There is no immediate shroom up spot here, but definitely MCC can be bumped out. This is a section pretty much known for being bumped everywhere, but Marshalltown will continue to hold that first place spot. Even though Crazy Flame does not have protection, he is the person that you'd want to see in that first place spot. Don't has the shroom though. We'll see if Crazy Flame makes an aggressive
trailing
play
and
here
cut.
Oh, beautiful.
What
nice.
a... Yeah, I had never seen a shortcut that clean. It's just unfortunate that this game is poorly made, and because Crazy Flame slowed down on don't screen, he got hit out. But
Yeah, I gotta take notes of how.
don't trying to wall dodge that the red, unfortunately. But no, that Nisk had to be one of the cleanest Nisks I've ever seen on this track.
Yeah, even though Don't had a fortunate interaction there with a little bit of lag, MCC still having a lot of tops. Michigan State just continuing to have those top 2 spots. And they're entering this point that if they die, then there might be like 1 through 3 through 6. And they might have to enter a point of desperation. Shock will be seen soon if it were to occur.
And Marshalltown doesn't have it in bot 2, I don't think, correct? This bill is really strong for Don't, and I think Xerneas has Crazy 8. So it's all going to come down to this set right here. This set and the next set are the 2 sets that you will see Shock used.
Yeah, he's definitely holding that bill, which is rather interesting. Do they have? No, okay, that's a star.
No, it doesn't look like it. I also thought that. I
They
saw
have a
the star.
Yeah, Marshalltown to Mega last, I think. Yeah, I don't know if that's a DT or if
got
someone
there
just...
though.
Yeah,
Okay,
Marshalltown.
Michigan State in 2. Can they salvage anything behind it? Triple Shrooms is a fantastic pull, but you gotta hope that your second place guy can hold on. He gets bombed out.
Oh, the skip. Lobster
Didn't make that
definitely
much of
would
a
have.
difference.
Yeah, Lobster definitely would have been knocked out there, just having a little bit of a cooldown there, and them not really anticipating that red going for them. Top 4, Marshalltown in controlling almost all of the top spots. Not even Don't is able to be in the top 6 right now. That is not a great start for Spartan, especially if they want to extend this to game 3. The shock game is not happening right now, and we need to see if they can continue to try and readapt here, as the current strategy is not working. And in some cases, even if they did pull shock, it was just not enough to be able to break up multiple people breaking up in top spots.
Yeah, it's rough because you're absolutely right. Like Michigan State banked that race on a shock appearing, and 2 races which frequently see shocks. We haven't seen one yet this set. Which is a little surprising seeing how far ahead Crazy Flame has been in some of these. Since items are partly distance-based in this game, the further away Crazy Flame gets, the more likely it is for those bot spots to pull shocks.
Definitely. I don't think it's completely against the idea of them going for shock. At the same time, it's just they don't need to eliminate... Okay, beautiful play there by Don't. Just, oh, okay. Kind of neutral there then. And falling off. Probably not his best moment. But Michigan State can still go for these shocks. They just need to be more aggressive at the start and have everyone play a role in potentially being able to take over a top 2 spot. As just having these people sit in bot 2, like they currently are right now, kind of just eliminates the amount of people contending for the tops. And Crazy Flame's persistence alone, if they continue to have this 6v4, they'll just be outnumbered, if not outmanned, at the top spots.
Although, again, Michigan State playing aggressive to start the match, and it looks like they immediately flipped Marshalltown's runner on its head, and now they've turned it into their runner.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with Don't in the back. He'll likely just immediately push up, but if he stays in the back, honestly, I have more faith in him or Crazy Flame than anyone else to know the distance to pull shock. But yeah, Michigan State, once again, sending back that Birdo. I believe it was Zeke, or Zeki, ZKE. But they will continue to have a presence in the back. They are entering this final set for the second lap. So if anything were to happen, it would likely happen not too far in advance from now. But Michigan State still controlling those tops, but the Marshalltown player having all that leverage in that middle spots. This is Dote's chance and his...
That's such an unfortunate ghost, because now...
He's at the mercy of Lobster right now.
Unless he can outline him, and I think he did. Yeah, he's got a gap that's top 2 for Michigan right now. Michigan State, sorry.
Green.
It's just, Marshalltown, and that's like,
Ooh. That was,
that's actually not the
Marshalltown.
worst shock spot for Michigan State, as first was far enough ahead and does get the boost panels.
The
It
second
might
could lose
still
if
end up
they're
being,
troops. At least one of them's taking cut.
it's still top 2 for Michigan State, but that's not enough to get a winning race. You need some help.
A high Michigan State
top
starting to
2-4.
get fourth.
Okay. Winning race, you cut the lead down by about 6 points, I think. So it's like 20 to 22 point game. Michigan State's fighting back. They're not going down without a fight, like a true Spartan.
Absolutely. That was what you wanted to see from Michigan at this point, because it was looking pretty drastic at the end of that previous race. Even though the differential wasn't insane, the fact that they had control of top 4 was absolutely horrible for trying to get control on the game. And the fact that they were just able to have people at the top as soon as late lap 1 or early lap 2 shows that they are capable of contesting Marshalltown. And that if they just continue to apply pressure and not solely rely on the shock to bring miracles, then they can do what Marshalltown has been doing this entire time.
I was wondering when Michigan State would bust out this pick, because that was a track I noticed they missed in game 1. We won't see it yet, but this was something back from my summer switch up 1 days when I played with I Don't Know. And when we were making our track list, Cam Reddish put Ninja Hideaway, and excuse me, I'm gonna have to censor this. He calls it "Don't Stupid, Ugly Idiot Track." So, Ninja Hideaway is a track that historically Don't has loved picking, and I do expect that Michigan State is well versed on the track. That might be their trump card they need to pull out here in game 2 to win it.
Yeah, I would like that if all the players know all the strats, such as doing the nest without any item. Because speaking from experience, as someone that that's friends with Wisp, it is a pretty disgusting track, and it's honestly one of those tracks whose strength comes from the fact that no one really wants to play it and won't really time trial it and just kind of hope that it doesn't get picked. It might genuinely be the track that Michigan State has the greatest knowledge or skill dip on, and we can see if they eventually pick it and can use that to potentially bring that 22 down to something more positive for them.
Yeah. Dope with a huge breakaway, but the problem is, again, the pack right behind him is all blue. So it kind of does depend, can Don't keep away from this pack, because unlike in Mario Kart World, 2 can pull red shells, and a lot of red shells. So we'll see how this all plays out. No shroom for Crazy Flame is really unfortunate for this section of the track, because 3 mushrooms save you a lot of time here.
Yeah, he tried to go for the slow fire there to get more Aureus before the cut. Unfortunately, not working for him. And now they just have a bunch of people clogging this left side as Michigan State's able to avoid them.
The green! And he gets trailed out. Crazy Flame comboed into the back.
And Marshalltown, without their win condition, blue.
And Crazy Flame stuck holding the blue, because now Marshalltown's in one.
Unfortunately, they didn't throw it, but someone that's very capable and knows how to take that cut at the end is now unable to do so. He's going to have to use it soon, but he might not even get a double at the last set.
Lobster Roby is going to hold on to 1 for... Where is that blue going?
That hit a Marshalltown player in 9th.
That's bottom 4!
Okay,
bottom 3. But that is still, yes, Marshalltown held on to 1, but that's damage control. That is a big momentum swing for Michigan State.
No, that was...
I want to see a replay of this race from the perspective of the blue shell, because where the heck was that going? Did the person in 4 or 5, were they the top spot after top 3 crossed the line as Michigan State was shrooming up in front of them? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was not what I was expecting to happen with that. It just looked like it just dropped a lot earlier than I expected. You'd think with all these people passing the line that it wouldn't really have an effect just hitting someone after the line. That wasn't really the case. And even with Crazy Flame pulling that blue, that was the worst thing that could have happened to Crazy Flame. He is someone that, especially with that shortcut at the end, is capable of knocking back multiple Michigan State players. If they have him basically just sitting in timeout for a race, this is their moment. They can use Don't and everyone else there that's already pushing up to take advantage. MCC at times, Crazy Flame is their win condition, and without that win condition, then there is a chance that they just start free falling.
Something intriguing that has turned up is neither Don't nor Crazy Flame is wearing the Indiv crown in this lobby. It's two completely different players, which is going to be the story of this match. It's going to be how the team supports their... I can call them their kings, because that's almost essentially what... I'm glazing again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I do love to see someone other than those two being able to push the tops, because it just completely changes how you see a player in this community. If it's this third best scoring guy or this fourth string guy coming up and dropping like 100 and somehow being the person that not only averages 100 more than they're expected, but being the hero that this team needs, being the person that stepped up to help your juggernaut of a teammate. That was crazy.
That was an insane bomb. Don't couldn't block the red because his teammate was right next to him, so instead he held it and killed 5 people. I really hope someone is going to post that clip in CKL later.
No, he has red.
No,
he is on the warpath. I did not like that he had that horn, because he just had this look on him, in those Yoshi eyes. Like, if two of them press me right now, I'm going to immediately horn. But despite Don't just kind of playing a little aggressive there, kind of gets the cut correctly, but they still have a lot of top spots. You will see if Marshalltown is better at pulling the shock than they are at this point. Them surviving.
Blue Shell is out. Nice ring.
Oh.
Fire, it's fine. One has got such a breakaway.
That's 2 of them.
The ring of the
century!
Special! Oh my
god! Not getting the last hit there.
I mean, hopefully Xerneas has enough of a lead that he can hold on to 1, but it's all going to come down to this final set. Don't have to slow down for an item.
There. Doesn't pull a bill, so he's probably not going to gain more than 2 spots.
Pomolo got hit out.
Last. Bot 2?
That's a lot of Marshalltown in the bottom half.
That's like 9, 10, 11 for Marshalltown. Oh!
Wow!
That's insane! The Michigan State is doing what a team needs to do to win this whole thing. It's not Don't doing the magic. It's the entire team stepping up as a whole. And despite him not pulling a shock or pulling a blue, saying, hey, if you give us these opportunities, we can capitalize, we can take advantage. And as an entire group without Don't, managed to hold almost every single spot in top 6.
And just like that, Michigan State with its first lead of the set, +4 going into race 6. Wow. Just
crazy. Yeah. Crazy Flame is not cooking right now, and we need to see if some Marshalltown players are able to either help him get up to the top or step in on his behalf, because it's completely different from you'd expect. Crazy Flame is not currently running this entire room, and it's just looking completely different by the race. Michigan State just immediately back in the top, showing that almost all of their team is capable of getting these good spots and potentially winning these small one-on-one interactions with Rang, Fire, Red, Triple Greens, to show that they can take over as soon as race 6 here. Because if they continue on this spot and Marshalltown does not do anything to adjust or pull any sort of shock, they're going to look uncomfortable and the most human they've ever looked so far.
Marshalltown did fortunately get their track pick, so they're able to contest top spots, Waluigi Stadium being very strong for those bottom spots, because for 2 reasons. 1, the coins on this track are nowhere. Weibo took all of them, and it is notoriously impossible to get 10 coins in time trial. Source, trust me, bro. 2nd, these back spots can pull shrooms and take that massive shortcut at the start of the track, which allows these back spots to not only have the coin advantage immediately, but then potentially have a shroom or a dodge in a top spot quickly. Crazy, being defenseless in 1, he did only pull that single shroom, but again, demonstrating you still don't need a mushroom to take that shortcut, you just need to know the line. And Michigan State is pressuring him behind, Marshalltown in the group behind that. It is a very mixed pack with Crazy Flame running away in 1, which was the story for a lot of match 1.
Yeah, I definitely like this track pick from Marshalltown because of how technical this track is. That not only can it work for the mid pack or the bottom, but it's more just like, hey, can we get something that Crazy Flame is probably the fastest on, that if he could get that shroom, which he did, that he can pull away. This is just basically a crazy, like, let Crazy Flame cook and we'll be fine, and just have him just continue to show that he is capable of staying in the tops, and that kind of trickling down to the rest of the team as they possess top 2.
After, I think, a Michigan State shock, because I saw Green Yoshi come out of a dodge, or out of a ghost. So it all depends on what can Michigan State do to break these top spots. Triple Shrooms is a great pull, but not what Don't needs in this situation. He needs something to pressure Capitalism, who's playing Get Down, Mr. President. Trip Reds! Let him rip.
He's in an uncomfortable spot. He needs to attack Boba.
Get her out.
Boba Whitefield.
That's 2-4-5? 2-4-5, I think, for Michigan State.
And MCC getting last. Okay,
this is okay.
Pretty neutral.
Yeah, I want to say this war might be in a dead heat after 6 races. Crazy doing exactly what he needed to on that track. Breaking away, controlling the front presence, trusting that the rest of his team can make the plays that they need to make. And it looks like they made just enough of the plays. And score update, dead heat after 6 races. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, if that was a Michigan State shock, though, was that like the best time to do it necessarily? Because I'm not really sure. Because it ended up being a Michigan State shock. I would have much rather have seen that get him in the middle of the cut rather than on boost panels. And yes, obviously you do want to shock blue him to just completely pulverize that lead. But there was a position a little further that would have just completely destroyed his positioning, and those people in 2, 3, 4, and 5 could have used that boost panel to catch up.
Do you then think that wasn't a Michigan State shock due to when it happened? It could have been a Marshalltown shock, and just some of Michigan State happened to dodge it.
Yeah, that could have been a somewhat poorly executed Marshalltown shock.
Well, it got Crazy Flame before boost panels, and his teammate ended up dodging up into 2, so that's what I was thinking.
I guess it gets him on the boost panel, which is helpful, because I guess if anything I didn't like about it was the fact that it didn't cancel the blue itself, but that was in the heat of the moment. Crazy can't necessarily pace himself to just go a little bit slower so he doesn't have to slow down for that boost panel. But in either way, it ended up working out for Crazy, as shown in the table. He's back in 2nd place, but a Michigan State player just continuing to hold that top spot. He is now in 5th, though. Top 2 Michigan State, and a pretty mixed bag, but mostly Michigan State in the bottom as well. And this is another one of those tracks where we'll see shock, but we'll see if it continues to be a trend that shock just either does not have a huge effect on anything, or just doesn't get pulled in the first place.
I hate to see it for Dump there. But this track, like you mentioned, shock is very strong on Shroom Ridge because of how much time Mushroom saves on these final 2 cuts. Don't losing his triple shrooms there is unfortunate, but First does have a lot of distance. He should be able to get more at this
Blue
set.
shell out.
Does First place have an extra shroom because they shroomed through cut? No, they don't. And that's Marshalltown hitting out 1. There's still 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 3, 4 now. Michigan State in 2.
Only getting 1 box.
That's not the pull you want.
He has to get rid of those before he TKs, and he actually TK'd there.
Only red
position for Don't. Getting odd casual doesn't really mean anything. He
Crazy is going to get a top spot here because he's going to pop his star into cut. So even if there's a late shock, they can't get him out.
Worst case, he might TK. Oh, he's gonna try.
I think his teammate got trailed out. So Michigan State does hold on.
It's maybe
2-5, but that's bot 3. Marshalltown jumping back in front with that statement race.
Yeah, they kept Don't down and then ended up just spelling doom for Michigan State there. Not what they wanted to see. Once again, shock not happening. I don't know if they're not dropping far enough, or if there's just a lid on the rim here and they aren't necessarily allowed to get those shocks, because that would have meant everything for them. Even though Crazy Flame was in a position to dodge in a high spot and immediately get first, If they got him out of his star because he waited as long as he did to take the shortcut, that would have pushed up everyone, because that is such an important track, as you said, to pull shock. Because it's almost like when I have problems with Vicky about that track of why sometimes I don't like it, it feels like there's too many shortcuts, that you need 3 different kinds of dodges or shrooms there. But if you get multiple people in that glider or that really big grass cut, it can mean everything, because then you're protected in the tightest section of the map, and then you can take the shortcut and potentially have protection after that as those cars just funnel everyone towards the finish line.
All right. For this race, just to see if the Michigan State is sitting at distance, I did pull up a shock map. So I'll be able to cross-reference to see if they're at distance to pull when they need to pull. Again,
Crazy Flame.
Michigan State targeting out Crazy Flame immediately. Part of it was aligned. That is an unfortunate not super bounce, smart bounce. Excuse me.
He does have the tools to catch up.
Mm-hmm. This track is
a lot of tops.
Yeah, there's a lot of green and tops. I saw a bomb dropped. It looks like it did end up maybe catching a Michigan State player. This is a little bit early to get a ghost.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last place is going into set about now. I don't think that's distance yet.
Marshalltown is first, or at least top 2. Top 3?
That is
top 2.
This track is very polarizing and can flip the result on its head in an instant. That is an insane pull for Crazy Flame. Especially, because the shock spot after that last item set is so strong because there's nothing. Opts to use the ghost early, potentially to get more dodges here. They are not at distance. First place is not quite far enough ahead, or last place is not far enough back. There's not going to be a shock unless they drop a little further here, and it gets pulled this set.
Oh, there's a red. He needs to stay.
I think the pack is still too close. I think we're shockless.
Definitely no shock is going to happen here. That bouncing green. Don't managing to survive just for a little bit longer, but nothing happening. Even though that Athens Dash is very runnable, I'd say at least through experience is someone that loves to
the star, and he gets pillared at the end.
Oh,
unfortunate finish for Don't. And
huge for Marshalltown.
It depends how much of the mids. Yeah, that's another. That even war after 6 turns into like minus 30 with 4 to go. I'm getting deja vu.
At least it wasn't 60, which this is a lot more doable for them. But based off of recent trends, this is not good for Michigan State. They aren't coming back. They are currently leaving their position. Marshalltown setting a new pace for the rest of this game. As we enter the last section, Michigan State needs to turn it around right now, because honestly, they cannot afford to have more than a single bad race. And if they have a bad race, it better be single digits, or else this might be over.
Yeah, what kind of tricks does Michigan State still have in their bag? Because if you have a track that you've been hiding and you've been keeping in secret, you've been prepping for playoffs, this is when you pull it out. It's now or never.
Yeah, I'm write it down right now. I'm putting my soul on this. We're going to have like a minus 20, and we're going to see a Prayer Ninja Hideaway come out from Michigan State, and it's going to work. I don't know if that's wishful thinking or not.
I'd say put money on it, but unfortunately we are a family-friendly stream, and I condone gambling. You should not gamble on the YouTube stream. Go gamble your points away on the Twitch stream on B1 Finals if that goes to Game 3.
Big YouTube is going to be mad at us.
Who is the CEO of YouTube? Because it's no longer Susan.
I have no idea.
Again, Driftway, another one of those skill check tracks. This must be just another staple for Marshalltown. This shortcut really does force you, either you know it or you don't. And clearly, I don't know needs to change its name to I do know.
Yeah, I was scared at least about that red at the start, because the green Birdo managing to make that cut, but it was at this point. Oh, you have to.
Double reds. What a perfect spot to pull that too.
Yeah, Odd Casual taking over first place, but what has consistently been the beginning of the end for Michigan State is letting Crazy pull a string and pull away. They need to prevent him from getting to the tops as soon as possible. Odd Casual is capable of making some moves here, but
I think he failed cut.
I think he went around. Take the shot. Come on. Oh, whipping barely.
Watch back rain.
No, he'll respect the back there. I don't. Oh, okay.
Got a different Marshalltown player out.
This is really risky.
Going to throw up this ring. He has to take this risk.
This is the perfect time to throw that ring.
Crazy got hit. He got backed. So
Blue's out.
Xerneas has a lead. No, that's so unfortunate. And don't force to take the single.
Oh.
And side greens. Marshalltown breaks away in 1-2. Got the team kill.
They have a lot of bottoms as well. They need a shock.
Mickey Shock is the only thing saving Michigan State right here.
3, 2, 1, activate. No, it's not happening.
And that's top 4 Marshalltown. Oh no.
It's
not over yet. If there's anything a Spartan of all things is known for, it's their fight. Wait, what the heck?
2, 3, or 3, 4, 5.
What happened to Marshalltown?
They're still being great for Marshalltown. That's a gain, but
I was too busy thinking about next race. I looked away from the screen, and I turned around and Michigan State just got 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, they fought back, but at this point, you need those races to start going your way. Even because regardless if it's a gain or a small gain or a loss or just a neutral race, Michigan State needs it to go in their favor. And yeah, even regardless if it's a neutral race, that's still less time to catch up. At this point, Marshalltown is just trying to stall. They have what they need to win. They just need to not let everything collapse at the last moment, and they will finish their perfect season. All right, we'll see the roulette go here.
Two races
or Bangkok.
2 races to go. Does Marshalltown lock it up here, or we go in game 3? New York.
New York.
Could be this. This is the decider, right here. I think this is the decider. It's going to come down to this track.
They need to get it like at least 16 here, because yes, you can have these big splash races, but we haven't seen anything like that from Michigan yet. The biggest thing we've seen so far, right now, or so far, has been honestly less than a plus or minus 20. So they need these marginal races here. This is the deciding race. As miracles, yes, it is possible to happen, but more often than not, and in a lot of cases, it's not expected to happen. Don't once again in the back, and that's just been the tale of this entire match so far. Is that yes, a lot of Michigan State players have been a lot more aggressive, but Don't has been kept out of the tops more than Crazy has. Don't has really been struggling to fend off these MCC players, as you see one probably about to mace him with greens. Ooh, bouncing. Oh.
Yeah. And which is really unfortunate. This is how the race turned out, because I thought this race initially was going to be decided by 2 completely different players in top presence, because both Crazy and Don't got bumped out into the hazards on the first turn. So Crazy is working his way back up there, working to keep Marshalltown in these winning positions. That trail is amazing. Crazy doing it. I might have kept those greens. That was half the reason why, but also you could just traffic cone for your team. Make sure that Michigan State can't pass you. Who pulled shock? It looked like there could be distance. This is where it's used. Michigan State has it.
They have to wait him out.
They need dodges right here. It's gonna
now. Yeah, because he's out of his dodge.
In the pack. There's a Marshalltown dodge. This could be big.
Oh, he's bumping
this
him.
Could be it.
Okay, last place billing.
Okay, Michigan State held on to 1. It all comes down to what did they get behind.
Oh, that's
1-5. 2 races to go, but this is a very, very big hill.
Crazy covered that perfectly. He shocked at the perfect time for Michigan State to be able to capitalize. As even if they got everyone after that final set and had multiple people take that shortcut and potentially billing into it for favorable position, he would have immediately gotten first. That would have just completely been terrible and negate half of the effectiveness of that shock. great move from Crazy there, just getting exactly what he needed to do, taking advantage of the fact that he wasn't in first.
And even greater thing, I imagine this was the communication within the Marshalltown call to say someone else go into dodge as soon as I'm out. Because, well, this is unexpected. Well, because, like, Marshalltown knows in that position, they can give a small gain. They can't let Shock completely flip the race on its head. And so they just need to chain dodges one right after the other, so that way one of them is guaranteed a good spot, and Michigan State can't fully capitalize. It is unfortunate Michigan State could not get the dodges they needed to fully take advantage of that shock, but Marshalltown played perfect shock defense to make sure that Michigan State couldn't get that plus 30 race that they were looking for. So, Piranha Plant Cove it's a bit of a wild card track, because this track absolutely comes down to track knowledge. It's if you know how to drive this track, you can run away. I played Summer Switch Up with, I don't remember what place Side B has worldwide, but I know he's top 5 worldwide on this track. And whenever he was in one, he was gone in one, and it was up to the rest of us to make sure that we could catch up. You can take a shortcut coming up here with these mushrooms. I imagine we'll see both Don't and Crazy go for it. Redded off Glider. Crazy will be breaking away in one, assuming he knows how to take this cut. And he did it without a mushroom. So he has Shroom Bomb in one. This is a commanding position for Crazy Flame. And with second place behind him, this is really difficult for Michigan State to break. It's all going to come down to what does Michigan State pull here in the back. Marshalltown is looking to deliver the killing blow on this race because they can take a -10. They can take a -12. They probably can even take like a -20, but you cannot give up a really big race here. Crazy Flame holding on to what he's got in the top is exactly what Marshalltown needs in the situation.
Yeah, barring one of those miracle shocks, which they aren't even in the position for, with a lot of them just being 2, 3, 4, Michigan State is just in a really unfortunate position unless they get a red shell out, because Crazy Flame has exactly what he needs at this point. And the blue going away, but we need to see that blue come out in the next 20 seconds. Marshalltown can afford to sacrifice someone in 10th or 11th just to hold that blue, and there's a genuine chance that player in 11th has that blue shell, because that is the last thing they need. Is the final step is having that person holding blue. He isn't using anything, so I think there's a genuine chance we're going to see a blue come out from him, or a shock.
A lot of Crazy's lead is gone. I think second place might have pulled red.
Blue's out, yeah.
Okay, so his teammate was holding. Marshalltown trying to capitalize off of this. Capitalism is getting blued on the line. Can Michigan State get enough spots to stay in this war? They got 2-3. I think Capitalism drops.
Lot of lower mid.
I don't think that's enough. I think we can finally crown our Division II champions after this race. We'll wait for the scores to update to make it final. Well, not yet. Marshalltown would have to pick a unique track. But that does it. Marshalltown College, with the undefeated season, your Division II champions.
It's been an amazing run for them.
Don't put it, of course, switching up the combo to have a little bit of fun in the final race.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, like,
oh my god, these track
at the beginning
my eyes.
They just all went to the line and then just started like taking screenshots. This is your moment to celebrate. You still have a race to just get all of the intensity or the stress put up and just let it out. Have fun. Maybe TK Crazy a couple of times so he doesn't get as many indivs. You know, have fun with it. And this is your time to celebrate, because Marshalltown, with this selection, is your D2 champions. Oh, that combo is horrid to look at.
In other news across CKO, we also have our Division I champions. Waterloo taking the 2-0 victory over University of Northern Iowa, disrupting their perfect season. And winning their first D1 banner after coming in second place twice in a row.
Yeah, it's funny seeing all of them hop in the chat.
Yeah, you can
Just
see
probably
it's all of.
it probably as electric as it is right now. I wonder if that's just going to be the same here. We're just going to be flooded with MCC, but we'll see what happens. But congratulations to Waterloo, as well as this team. If you count their season 1 as Ontario United, they have one before, but with this core under that single college tag of Waterloo, they have always come up as second place, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And this is their moment, getting a completely different team in Northern Iowa, someone that you wouldn't really expect to make it this far, but they are as motivated as Waterloo is to get better. That was an absolute crazy match from them, and as you heard from the first match, it definitely went down to the wire.
Yeah, and even still, we can focus back on Marshalltown's efforts this season. They came into this as kind of an outsider. We knew some of their players, like we had seen Capitalism in Lounge. We knew Crazy Flame played for Team Midwest and Regional Rumble and was pretty strong. But this team, like, we weren't really sure what to think of them. We weren't sure how this would all play out. And here they come. They waltz into Division 2 in a season that is a bit unique due to the other game that has come out. And they've made their mark on this league already. And I'm very interested to see where this team goes in the future.
Absolutely. A team coming in, I was trying to like check the statistics about it, but not honestly the last team that I thought that would dominate a high division, considering that they're from a completely different league, as well as the fact that they come from a college that's a 25th, like 25 times smaller than Michigan State, only having about 2,000 students there, but just of those 2,000, they were able to produce a core of enough people that were in love with this game and were willing to put forth enough to win a title in their first season of CKL, and really amazing job from them. It's not, once again, I'm saying it, but it's not easy to go undefeated. People could sweep you off your feet, especially in these final moments as you've seen with Northern Iowa, but they managed to persevere, always taking advantage of the opportunities they've given, whether it be a lack of shock or just getting these front presence. And I'm really interested to see some of the strategies that they put forth in order to get the victory tonight.
Yeah, just well done. And again, love to the Spartans for putting up such a good fight, but unfortunately their silver medal streak continues, and they'll have to look to the World season with health divided to try and take home the W with that. But again, huge congratulations to Marshalltown. What an amazing season for that program. And if it comes around to next season, I'm going to be the first to say it, I think this team could make waves in T1.
Absolutely. You've seen it in the past before, and I guess some of these comparisons are kind of confusing, whether I want to pull out Oklahoma immediately going from D3 runner-up to barely missing the playoffs in Division 1. But Marshalltown is already there, and the scary part for Division 1 teams, I guess me being on a Division 1 team myself, is that, is this where they are now? Like, is their low point Division 2 champions, undefeated Division 2 champions, that if they have another step to go, if all these other players can develop and become similar to Crazy Flame, where's their floor in all this? If other teams start to prioritize MK World a little bit more and they just stay on this game and prioritize it, they could be the next face of CKL.
We'll see, but I've got right here with me one of the men of the hour, Marshalltown's very own Crazy Flame. Congratulations on the season.
Thank you very much. We worked really hard to get here, and I'm very proud of all the work my teammates and myself put in for the entire season.
So walk me through some of the prep you did for the playoffs, because of course being the undefeated team does give you a little bit of confidence. However, you obviously know you can't let your guard down. So what were some of the things that you were telling your team going into both the series against Morgan and against Michigan State?
So basically our game plans were to just never underestimate our opponent. Even though we were the 1 seed, we went into it assuming that, we were going to lose if we didn't play at the best of our game, which we could have lost. Both series were fairly close, even though we did win 2-0 in both. Another game plan we had was to capitalize on our depth, because we are one of the deeper teams, I feel like. So, for example, if I got hit out, my teammates would be able to pick up the slack if I wasn't able to.
Definitely. And I am kind of interested on some of those strategies. Was it primarily, and I guess just kind of looking at how some of these races went, was it just primarily taking over the tops and what happened was a byproduct, or did y'all specifically try to go after Don't as someone who would typically give you the most amount of trouble in the tops?
Our game plan was to be as aggressive as possible as soon as the race started, so we could establish those tops early and force them into uncomfortable positions. And since Don't is their star player, we were kind of focusing him, because we knew if we got him out, it would be hard for his teammates to pick up the slack, since we knew we had more depth.
And hey, Coach Roadblock, welcome into the call. You entered this league as rookies looking to make your mark. You exit your rookie season as champions.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible, right? This team has worked incredibly hard. When we were talking this afternoon, I said, guys, I don't know if there's a single team across all 6 divisions that's put in as much work as you guys have. You know, we have a lot of fantastic teams across the board, but I've never seen a team in my life, and I've been coaching for 5 years now, that wanted it as much as this specific stack of kids, or adults, I should say. It's been awesome.
And I think one of the people in call here is quite grateful that you will not be waterboarding him later this week.
Let's go!
Yeah, you know, he was looking a little shaky after week 1, but we got those averages up. I shouldn't have given him that weight period, you know?
He locked me in his closet.
So, Coach, obviously I gotta ask, where do you guys go from here? Like, the D2 banner is fantastic, but I know you guys want to set your sights a little higher.
Well, you know, I didn't know where we were going to land at the start of the season, and then we landed D2. Obviously, we had a phenomenal run in D2, but we've got our sights set on a number that's one lower right now, right? So Division 1, here we come. We're ready to go out there. We're ready to play against some of these other schools. Some truly phenomenal talent across all these divisions, but really excited to see what's hiding out there in D1 next semester.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Is there anything that you would want to say to some of the teams in Division 1, or any specific team that you just cannot wait to face in Division 1?
You know, I got to say, because we're an Iowa school, the one that I'm most excited to face are our friends up in Northern Ireland. I know a couple of those students from years past coaching in the high school scene. And so not only have they been fantastic partners to us up to this point, I'm really excited to compete against them in the future here. Also, just wanted to shout out all of the amazing teams that we saw throughout Division 2. I didn't really get to see the chats in the other divisions, but I really think Division 2 may have been the most fun division to be a part of. You know, shout outs to OU and FIU and UT and all the wonderful teams that we got to see throughout this season. They really made it a great spot for us to be in, really made us enjoy our time here in CKO.
And we're so glad that you came. I mean, plus now you can claim dominance as the best Iowa team, because hey, you're the first Iowa team this season to win a banner. I mean, there are a couple more putting their bids out there. Of course, later this week we have Wartburg in D4. In D5, Buena Vista is going to take their shot along with Co College. So we'll see, but you guys are part of one of the dominance Mario Kart states in the Collegiate Karting League. And
for sure.
It's been special to see.
I got to give a quick shout out to Buena Vista. NC on that team was a former MCC player, and so really excited to see how that team has been doing and to see her play at the 4-year level. Really proud of NC in particular.
Well, I don't want to hold you here any longer. Congrats, Coach, and congrats, Crazy Flame, on the amazing season. Congrats on your banner. Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, CKO.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Of course. And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in and watching our primetime cast to Division 2. Division 1 coverage has wrapped up as we did crown Waterloo as the D1 champions, but Division 3 is going to a Game 3 as Maryland managed to take Game 2 on the final race, and Game 3 should be starting shortly. I will try and get links posted to those within the CKO server if you want to check that out. With that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to keep an eye out for announcements for future prime times, both within 8 Deluxe and our World season. Sign-ups for those will be closing tomorrow night. So if anyone listening needs to get those last invites out to make sure that their squad can get registered, this is your reminder. Additionally, at the end of the month, we will have a one-day 8DX event. I think registration is full for our Graveyard Smash. However, we will likely try and stream as much of that as we can, so be tuned. Thanks, Dynamo, for the cast. I think that hopefully we did our best to make this as entertaining to listen to as it was to watch.
Of course. Yeah, this job wasn't necessarily me coming out here and trying to make everything very exciting for everyone else. It was just more of an opportunity to express just how happy I am to be in this seat right now. This was, despite it being 2-0, very electric matchup. Definitely possible for either team to win, and even though unfortunately it has to end here now, it was an absolute blast, and I am happy to help my brother in the West, as this was everything I wanted it to be.
Absolutely. And again, congratulations, Marshalltown, on the season. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all in the next broadcast.